Welcome dear student. I am Assistant Professor Kutwal MM, Department of Agronomy. So today we discuss our course Agro 111, that is Fundamentals of Agronomy. In that course we discuss today important topic, that is methods of and time of application of manures and green manuring crops. So in that topic we discuss different methods of fertilizers, how to apply fertilizer, when to apply, and this method very important or role play in um, nutrient management. So firstly, what is mean by the manure and fertilizer, we firstly discuss. So basically manure are the plants and animal waste material used for as a source of plant nutrient, the release after their decomposition, that is manure. So in that manure, two different types, that bulky organic manure and concentrated organic manure. Then after manure we discuss fertilizers. So fertilizers, that is the industrial manufactured chemical containing plant nutrients, synthetically produced chemical after the different minerals or rocks, after the chemical processes, the synthesis of a chemical constituent and nothing but fertilizers. So in these chemical fertilizers in different three different types: straight fertilizers, complex fertilizers, and mixed fertilizer. These are basic three different types of fertilizers. Then we discuss classification of manures and fertilizers. So basically these are distincts or a broad sense, we can say this classification very important. So I will one by one we have to discuss here. So organic manure and inorganic manure, then also biofertilizers, three distinct different agencies of these manures and fertilizers. So basically organic manures or organic fertilizers, we have to call a natural source of nutrient, in that bulky organic manure and concentrated organic manure. So basically in bulky organic manure, FIM, compost, night soil, vermicompost, green manuring, sheep manuring, sewage waste and sludge, these are the different sub bulky organic manures we have to use for as a nutrient source. Then concentrated organic manure, in that two distinct ways. So that is, the first one is the plant origin and second one is the animal origin. So in that firstly we discuss plant origin. In that concentrated organic manure, so edible oil cakes and non edible oil cakes, two sub parts are divided. Edible oil cakes, linseed cake, groundnut cake, safflower cake, sesame and niger cake, these are the edible oil cakes. And some of the non edible oil cakes also having certain major plant nutrients, in that neem cake, mahua cake, castor cake, cotton seed and safflower cake, and also currant cake, in that non edible oil cakes. So these are the different number of edible and non edible manure or cakes we have to use organic manure for nutrient source. Then after that we discuss on the animal origin, in that bone meal, fish meal, then meat meal, slaughterhouse refuges, hoops, meals, horn, they also involve in as a nutrient source. Bone meal having a high phosphorus and calcium content in that. So these meal bone, then meat meal or blood meal having a nitrogenous content is a major quantity, these sources. Then after we discuss broader sense of inorganic or artificial sources, or we can say fertilizers, in that nitrogenous fertilizers, then phosphatic fertilizers and potassic fertilizers. So the three distinct classification we have to discuss here. So and firstly, we discuss nitrogenous fertilizers in nitrate form: sodium nitrate, calcium nitrate, then potassium nitrate. These are nitrogen source, nitrate form source. Then ammonical form of nitrogen, that is ammonium sulfate, ammonium chloride, and anhydrous ammonia. These are three different ammonical source of nitrogen. Then after nitrate and ammonical combinedly form of nitrogen availability, in that ammonium nitrate, calcium ammonium nitrate, and ammonium sulfate nitrate, these are the source of nitrogen. Then also amide form, urea and calcium cyanamide, these are the source of amide form of nitrogen. Then nitrogen sulfate, so these are the also one of the different five distinct forms of nitrogen availability. Then after we discuss next important part, the phosphatic sources of nitrogen, phosphatic sources or phosphorus sources, in that monocalcium phosphate, dicalcium phosphate, and tricalcium phosphate. These are the three um, distinct sources. So firstly, in monocalcium phosphate, in that single super phosphate, double super, triple super, and ammonium phosphate, these are the monocalcium phosphate. Then dicalcium, in that dicalcium phosphate and basic slag, these are also important source. And then basic source is a tricalcium, that rock phosphate, raw bone meal, and steamed bone meal. These are the source of phosphate. Then after that we discuss potassic sources, in that basically these potassic sources, chloride form muriate of potash, we call all know. Then sulfate forms, in that sulfate of potash and potassium nitrate, these basic source of potassium. Then after that complex fertilizers we discuss here. The complex fertilizer, mono ammonium phosphate, diammonium phosphate, we can say DAP, 1846 this is the grade, very useful grade for the pulses crops. Then nitrophosphate, also one of the important source for the complex fertilizers, to two or more fertilizers or nutrients they will be supply, so we called as a complex fertilizers. Then after that complex fertilizers, we discuss about the fertilizer mixtures, soil amendments, and micronutrients. So this is the very important part. So firstly, fertilizers mixed by the mechanical powdery mixture, then granulated fertilizer mixture of different grades. Then a second one is the soil amendments. Lime and gypsums are two distinct very important soil amendments. They are useful for, lime is useful for the acidic soil, and gypsum are useful for the alkaline soil. So these two different soil amendments are useful to reclaim the soil pH, to maintain the favorable or neutral position of their pH for the betterment of different nutrient availability. Then we discuss about the micronutrients. So these are micronutrients, in that ammonium molybdate, the source of molybdenum and also ammonium. Then copper sulfate, this is a source of copper and also sulfate. Then zinc sulfate, borax, manganese sulfate, and ferrous sulfate. These are the distinct major plant micronutrients they will supply. And then one of the remaining part, that is our biological source of nitrogen, or sources of different plant nutrient, in that rhizobium, azospirillum, azotobacter, PSB means phosphorus solubilizing bacteria, and blue green algae. These are the number of different sources of plant nutrient. Then we discuss methods of method and time of application of manures and fertilizers. So basically in that sense we discuss here the manures and fertilizers in solid forms, and fertilizers in liquid forms. So we two distinct different types: liquid form fertilizer and solid form. So there will be different methods we can use in that to place this fertilizer to different crops in soil. The broadcasting method, in that broadcasting at sowing time and broadcasting after the sowing at crop dressing. Top dressing, this is the simple concept, that is to spreading or broadcast the uh, nitrogenous fertilizers at 1.5 month or 35 to 60 days after the sowing. So first we generally say the first irrigation should be provided. At that time we can apply the one dose of nitrogen in that split dose of the nitrogen, nothing but. So this method, or we can say top dressing. Then second important, that is the placement method. So placement method, so should be apply the plow sole placement. These bulky organic manures, we can say this type added into soil. Then deep placement and subsoil placement. So bulky organic manures we can place at that type by. Then third type, that is the localized method. In that localized contact placement in root zone contact we can fertilizer apply. Then second one is the bend placement, in that hill placement and row placement. So hill placement means the spots of different crop in that adjacent area we can apply the fertilizers. And the second one, that is the row placement, in means the fertilizers and as well as seeds are sowing with one line in different place. So there will be row placement, we sugarcane and some other cereals and pulses we can drill at that like way. uh, then after pellet placement, so pellet placement is granules of super granules of urea. Urea super granules is large size granule or pellets are useful to place the in rice field or paddy field, for to avoid the leaching losses and volatilization of the nitrogenous. So this pellet placement is useful. Then side dressing means in fruit crops and vegetable crops we dress or place the fertilizers in furrow of that particular planting system. Then these are the solid form placement method of fertilizers and manure. Then we discuss the fertilizers in liquid forms. So when a number of the different liquid suspension or liquid form of different micronutrients as well as major nutrients in liquid form or water soluble form. So basically a starter solution, this is the 1% or 2% solution of major nutrients we can provide for the betterment of seedlings in nursery stage to and they will be transferred to main field, and that will be proper growth should be maintained. The starter solution, it will be provided for the these young seedlings. Then foliar spray, so when the drought condition is observed and we can't give application of irrigation water and then fertilizer also, but when that at that time we can spray the DAP or nitrogen water soluble 1 or 2 to 3% solution different fertilizers, and we can easily spray on foliage of different crop. There will be betterment growth of that particular crop, and grain filling stages or flowering stages, it will be survive this crop. Then direct application to the soil also, the different water soluble fertilizers, these directly apply to the irrigation water, these liquid fertilizer. Then after the application of fertilizer through the irrigation water, so we can say the fertigation. So like in drip irrigation method, we water soluble different fertilizers, they will be solubilized in a tank, and at the venturi system they will absorb these fertilizers and they will be supplied to the water flow, and that will be very betterment or a better utilization of fertilizers and increase the efficiency of nutrient. So these are the different methods of and application of fertilizers. Then we discuss about a very important topic, that is green manuring. Green manuring, nothing but uh, green manuring is a practice of uh, plowing or turning green plants tissue into the soil for a proper purpose of improving soil structure as well as fertility. So number of distinct different green manuring crops we can use for that. Then after what are the different methods? Two different methods of green manuring. First one is the green manuring in situ. So in that method we green manuring crops are grown in the same field itself, and either these pure crops as well as some extent intercrops also this take, and in main field main crop, and they will be buried in soil just before the flowering. After the before the flowering stage, this is the proper stage for the buried this green manure to easy to decomposition, and so betterment of the availability of new different distinct nutrient. Then after we discuss green leaf manuring. So green leaf manuring, it refers to turning of tender green twigs and leaves collected from the wasteland, burns, and forest, etc., into the soil. So basically, in that cassia, then sesbania, glyceridia, a number of calotropis gigantea, then azadirect indica, the number of different green leaf manuring crops. So glyceridia is a very important green leaf manuring plant. So they will be useful in a paddy field. Most of the farmers are used for the at the time of pulling. They will be buried in a field in at the time of the pulling operation. So different characteristics of green manuring crop. So in that basic characteristics, good characteristics, we can say, first it is should be quick growing, then it should be able to grow on poor soil also, then it should be have deep and fibrous root system, so it will be better for utilization the sources. Then fourth one is the preferably it should be legumes to fix the atmospheric nitrogen and availability to increase nitrogen fertilizers. Then it should be succulent and have to more leafy growth, so easy to decomposition in within short period, so they will be succulent and more leafy growth. Then it should yield large quantity of green material in a short period. So these such a different characteristics or good characteristics they will be have this crop, so they will be better utilization for us. Then we discuss what are the advantages and disadvantages of green manuring. So first one is the quick growing crops. It help to suppress the weed growth. This is the general rule. Then being a legume, it fix atmospheric nitrogen in soil. Then third one is the green manuring crops takes nutrients from lower layer of the soil. Then fourth one is the it adds organic matter and stimulates active of soil organisms, so they will also betterment. Then after we discuss some of the disadvantages of green manuring crop. They are also having uh, adverse effect or some disadvantages also. So first one is the induced pest and diseases may increase if not proper care should taken at the time of green manuring crop are developed. Then second one is the decomposition of green material may deplete soil moisture level. Therefore, germination of succeeding crop is affected. Then third one is the there is a loss of one season, specifically kharif season. It will be lost, and due to this period of this green manure crop, at least 60 to 70 days, and this period, and after that um, vegetative growth, they will be buried, and they will be decomposition period, such a 1 or a half month. So they will be required such a one season they will be lost. So I hope are you understand this knowledgeable to you, this video. So if you really like this video, then you can like my video. Then you can any defects or doubts regarding this topic, you can comment also. Your comment also welcome to us for improve my lectures. Then if you hope it's very knowledgeable to us or your friends, you can share this video. And if you want these want to my new lectures to join with me, so you can subscribe my channel. And thanks for watching.